Garage Strength versus the Strength Coach Network. I don't normally get involved in these kind of things, but gosh, Strength Coach Network made such a great post. If you guys follow them on Apple Podcasts, there was a argument made by Garage Strength about how strength coaches in the college level do everything wrong, and Strength Coach Network basically went through line by line and pointed out why Garage Strength obviously has no idea what they're talking about. This idea, just a simple one right off the bat, is these early morning workouts. Oh, they must do that so the kids don't go out at night. It's like, no, actually, early morning workouts, no one wants to do them, including the coaches. It has to do with the fact we have to work around academic schedules. They have class during the day. Or, they come back and they're weak and out of shape. And it's like, yeah, because the season ends and then they do nothing. And then when they come back to you, they've detrained because they've been doing nothing. Like, just stupid stuff like that. The idea that everyone needs to be lifting in weightlifting shoes all the time. No, because a lot of times you're doing something like post-activation potentiation, and you're going to want to be jumping in regular shoes. Things like that. There's a lot of logistics to running a weight room. If you've never run a weight room, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is why you get frustrated whenever you see these exercise scientist critiques, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you clearly have never been in that environment. That's why you don't know what you're talking about. I will tell you very bluntly, it is completely different working with an athlete one-on-one than it is running a weight room when you have 60 fucking athletes at once. Oh, they do 10 different exercises. Yes, because we have 1 hour to get the work done. Like, you have a limited amount of time. We don't have the time or the resources to do an optimal program where today all we're going to focus on is just squats. Yep. Downside to this is I've got to get 60 guys through it. So no, we're not going to select the perfect percentage and the perfect, bar velocity for each individual athlete. And we're going to do as many different things as we possibly can in that hour because we have to get it all in. Now, is that optimal? No, it'd be way more optimal to train like a pro athlete in the off season and have a coach one-on-one, and you do, 6 hours of different things during that day. You go get your physical therapy, you go get your massage, you get your acupuncture, you spend an hour doing sprint work, then you go get whatever other therapy you want to get done. Maybe they do gua sha or something like that, or they get, some type of, restorative red light therapy or something. And then you come back and you lift and, yes. In an optimal, ideal world where people don't have to go to class or do anything else, they get to work with a coach one-on-one and you can do optimal programming. It doesn't work that way, even at a D1 school. You have to get the whole team through the workout. So, this is one of those things, people give themselves away whenever they give their opinion on something, and then it becomes abundantly clear that they've never done that thing. And I'm going to tie this in, and I'm going to point out to you how many people are out there talking about tactical athletes and tactical programming, and how military should train and how law enforcement should train and how firefighters should train and all this stuff like that. And it's very clear that they never served in the military, they've never served in law enforcement, and they've never been involved in firefighting for that matter. Okay? That isn't to say that there aren't people out there who are good. Okay, Dan John is fantastic. I have no idea if he has a military record or not. I never even bothered to ask him. I know his brother served. I don't think Dan was in the military. Marty Gallagher is another one that has a ton of great information that is definitely relevant and beneficial. Okay, Matt Wenning. I'm unaware of Matt Wenning serving in the military, and yet Matt Wenning has a lot of really good insights. Okay. So this isn't to say that you have to do this to know what you're talking about, but damn it, you should at least work in that environment. Okay. So maybe you didn't play college football, but you've been you interned and you were a GA. Okay. Now you understand how it works. I didn't play college football, but I know exactly how it works. I've been in that weight room. I did internships. I've done these things. That isn't to say I didn't play football. I mean, I played football. Who didn't play football? Welcome to America. Baseball is apparently our sport. You know, it's the national sport. Yet everyone plays football. I played baseball too, so I'm not knocking baseball. I love baseball. But the point being, okay, like people have these opinions on things when they've had no experience in it on either side of it. And I really find that to be, I don't have an opinion on how to coach rugby. I've never coached rugby. I've never played rugby. I have no exposure to rugby. I didn't do an internship at a rugby team. I don't have any insights on rugby. I have no idea how people should train for rugby. So I don't have an opinion on it. You're not going to hear me say, oh, by the way, this week I'm going to start telling you how rugby should be coached. Not going to happen. I don't know anything about competitive swimming. I grew up swimming. I was a whatever first class American Red Cross first class swimmer or something like that by the age of 5. Yeah, my mom was really into. I've told this story before. My mom was afraid that we would drown because, well, as a toddler, I apparently walked down the hill and walked right into the creek, and the creek swept me away because it was moving fast, and I nearly drowned. Okay, and so my mom's solution wasn't, hey, let's put up a fence and keep the kids away from the pool and keep the kids away from the creek. No, my mom's solution was, instead of trying to protect them, teach them to swim. Yeah. So we didn't have to worry about the water anymore because we learned how to swim. Okay. I think that's a great lesson on parenting. That deserves its own video. But the point being, I have a lot of exposure to swimming. I'm a pretty good swimmer. I'm not trying to brag. I just have had a lot of experience. I grew up in the pool. I've been swimming my whole life. I'm very comfortable in the water. But I don't know anything about competitive swimming as a sport. So I don't coach competitive swimming. I don't propose to tell people, hey, this is how Michael Phelps should have been training. It's like the time that Brett Contreras argued that Usain Bolt would be faster if he did hip thrust. And it's like, well, how many Olympic sprinters have you produced? Or whenever Alan Aragon argued, well, Usain Bolt would be faster if he did IIFYM. He argued that in Lyle's Facebook group. And it was like, no, it doesn't matter. He can go ahead and eat the chicken McNuggets and still outrun everyone. I don't think that Usain Bolt would be faster if he did IIFYM. People make these statements, LeBron James would be better if he did full squats, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have tore his Achilles tendon if he did tib raises. These comments just go to show that these people don't have any actual experience, because you wouldn't say things like that. So, point being, I think you should go listen to the Strength Coach Network. They made a great post on this. It's a very good podcast. It's good information. This is one of those things though where apparently Dane, they tried contacting him, seeing if he would sit down and talk with them, and he won't. So whatever, doesn't respond. And I think that you should be. The word's not skeptical. You should approach these things not even with a grain of salt, but so much that it was like Jim Wendler said once, I don't take lifting advice from guys who look like they don't lift. You have to listen to people who have experience, because there are things that you gain from experience that you only learn through experience. I said this in a previous video. How do you get 20 years of experience? The 20 years. There's no replacement for it. There are certain things that you only learn because you've been in that environment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be aware of those things. People talk about various things, and it's like they give themselves away. You wouldn't know this because you didn't do it. People don't understand until they do it. And then when you do it, you're like, oh. It's like if I tried to tell you what it feels like to be, in a boxing match or a wrestling match for that matter. You don't understand. You really don't. You're out of breath to a degree that you don't fully appreciate until you do it. Have you ever done underwaters? I hope not. You shouldn't do them without having proper supervision. 50 meters underwater. You can do it. You can do it. But you just don't appreciate what that feels like until you do it. It's hard to explain. There are just certain things that are, it's like not everything that matters can be measured or something like that. Like there's a lot of things that matter that you can't necessarily quantify. And so people give themselves away when they say things like, well, they shouldn't have early morning workouts. And it's like, well, then you don't understand what it's like to work with college athletes who have academic schedules. You know, the weight room, there's one weight room and you may have, I don't know, a dozen different sports that need that same room, and you have to work around academic schedules at the same time. And it's like, there's only so many hours in the day. We can't have everyone train at noon. So just something for you guys to think about. I realize that this actually doesn't have a whole lot to do with the debate between the two of them, but it was what the catalyst for this thought was the debate between these two, and Strength Coach Network is correct. There's a lot of factors that come into play, which is why things are done a certain way, because you can't have the same situation as working with an Olympic weightlifter one-on-one. You can't do that with the whole team. So, shocker, they didn't have optimal training and they come to you detrained because they haven't been doing anything after the season ended. So, anyways, as you guys have it, go listen to it.